How you doing, guys? For Fighting's Sake here. I'm Scott Grindley, alongside with Mescho Dunko, owner of Hungryside Promotions and owner of Hungryside Management, and STBA Scottish champion Jamie Gillies. So, first of all, how are you?
Brilliant.
You good, guys?
Good, mate. Aye, brilliant.
We're back.
Back again.
Yes, so first one I want to go over is Jamie. You're just back from France, Lyon. You fought a difficult opponent over there. Unfortunate not to get the victory. However, I'm sure it was a great experience, like a lot to talk about. So I'd like to kind of dive into that. Tell me like what your experiences was, how the fight came about, because I know Mescho had a hand in that as well, and that's got something to do with this new Hungryside management that's coming about. So yeah, what was your experience like from start to finish, from your first contact, your first point of contact? What was it like?
Aye, well, it was a mad experience. So my coach, Sean Craig, messaged me saying obviously Mescho's reached out to him saying would I take the fight. It's at 67 kilos, but I usually fight 63 and a half.
So that's a bit heavier then.
Aye, yeah. And it was France. It's a good experience. So I was like, aye, why no?
Yeah.
Jumped out and done it, and aye, it was a lot different from what I'm used to. So it was good.
In what sense? So like, you know, because like I know like you're definitely used to like how a Scottish show is ran, but like how is it a bit different compared to in France?
Well, it was dead professional. The venue was huge. It was a good payday as well. In cutting weight, whilst flying and stuff. And see when I got there, that bit of France, like nobody was speaking English and that. So
Aye, I remember you messaging me going, I'm to shite myself here.
Oh,
Nobody speaks English.
Yeah, well, I know I was never too good at French in school.
I didn't even think about that when you were going over it.
Aye.
I've only been 2 or 3 times in my life. I went somewhere nobody spoke English.
Yeah.
I was right in the centre of Spain, and then once in Slovakia.
Quite a daunting thing.
And you try to point things and people just shake their head.
Yeah. So how did you find this fight then, Mescho? Because I'm very curious to this Hungryside management. You told me about it just before this, and obviously I know that you helped out Jamie finding this match. Yeah. So how did you come about finding the matchup, and what is it essentially you're going to be now starting?
Well, since promoting, especially the last 2 big shows, I've get in contact and became quite friendly with a matchmaker for Europe.
Okay.
And he
what's his name?
It's Alessio Schenkini.
Okay.
He is from XFC Management in Italy.
All right.
And he actually works with a lot of the bigger UK fighters. He recently just had something to do with Nathan Bendon fight he fought at the weekend there.
Mm-hmm. No.
He actually lined up the Niall's couple of fights for Niall, and then Garrett's last fight we just fought in the WBC.
Yeah.
Alessio was to do with that. So I've worked with Alessio for a couple of years, and then we're working back and forwards. And basically, as I've been working with him, he's always offered me good fights.
Right, yeah.
And then I've just been so busy with other things. I'd started thinking about, well, if he's offering me fights all the time, Scottish guys hardly ever go abroad to fight.
Yeah, you don't see many Scottish guys doing these international fights. Because I do see a lot of English guys getting these opportunities, but not a lot for Scottish.
So funnily enough, like, Tyler Hogan just fought in Cambodia a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah,
I was offered that fight 2 weeks before Tyler was offered the fight.
Oh, really?
I actually offered a couple of fights out to other people. So after Hungryside last show in August, I've been offered maybe about 6 or 7 good fights.
Yeah.
Jamie's fight came about. I was asked for a 67 kilo, a high level 67 kilo.
Right.
So the way I'm going to work it is, if Alessio offers me a fight, he'll give me the weight.
Okay.
Then I'll look it on my notes.
Yeah. Just
my
have a list.
spreadsheets and go, right, well, and for that fight Jamie took, I initially fought Rudy De Silva.
Okay.
So I've worked with Rudy, I've sponsored Rudy in the past. So I've like, right, ask Rudy.
Yeah.
Spoke to Rudy's coach Rosie, he was matched for last week in Aberdeen. He couldn't do it. I was like, right, fine. Who did Rudy just fight? He fought Flynn Shanks. Brilliant fight. I thought I was at the fight tonight at the Muscle Bound show.
Yeah, the Muscle
I
Bound
actually
show,
had matched that show at fight for my show.
Yeah, that was a cracking
And then
fight.
Cad asked me if they could take it on to his, and I went, take it on yours if you want.
Aye.
So then I asked Flynn through John Craig.
Yep.
And John said, "Oh, right, Flynn's got matched in Ireland, and he was matched somewhere else."
So this is what we were talking about.
Right,
earlier.
so Flynn had already had a couple of fights, and John said, "How about Jamie?" And I
Okay.
went, "Well, aye, I would be happy with Jamie." Jamie fought a lighter on Hungryside Super Show an 8-man twice at 63 and a half.
63, yeah.
But I do know he cuts a lot of weight.
Aye.
And because he had such a great performance on the 2 fights in 8-man, I thought myself, why not? I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
that's a good fight. So
Okay.
then we got some footage from him and we sent it over to France, and the promoter in France was happy about
Happy
it.
with it.
And then we just went
And
for
just
there.
went with it. Well, I mean, I saw the highlights of it, Jamie. I looked like you did put in a great performance, so well done, mate.
Cheers.
Obviously, you didn't get the win. The one thing I did want to bring up, because we were talking about it earlier, so obviously this was a professional fight over in France. However, in France, the regulation of elbows is quite a big thing. So that required you to be wearing elbow pads.
Yep.
And in the highlights that you posted, one of the big shots that you did land during the fight was an elbow. Do you feel that this fight might have been a bit different on the outcome if you weren't wearing elbow pads? Because I know this isn't the first instance for like things like this to happen. For example, Arian Hadaji, who fought in the main event, you know, when he won his WBC international title fight, he was wearing elbow pads.
Oh, was it?
So yeah, so it's quite a strange thing to see, you know, professional Muay Thai athletes needing to still wear protective gear whilst at the highest level. Because I know they've only just allowed elbows in MMA in France as
Yeah,
well.
yeah.
So like, what was your thoughts on wearing elbow pads and needing to kind of almost take a big part of your game out?
Well, I would say it could change the dynamic of most fights not having elbow pads on, but I think in order for me to win there, I had to knock him out,
Right.
to be honest. But
Why do you say
um,
that?
because it was like a fan favourite. I thought when I watched it back, it was a close fight, but I did think
Yeah.
I done enough to take the win.
Okay.
But I would say when you're fighting abroad, you need to really take it out of the park.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's
Right.
everyone knows that. It's just a common thing.
Yeah.
But with elbow pads, my last 2 fights, I'd say I've been picking my shots a lot more.
Okay.
As you know, usually I'm just going elbow crazy. I'm usually elbow daft. So
You enjoy
if
it.
I was being a bit elbow daft, then it would maybe be different. But I wasn't as elbow crazy that fight, to be honest.
Yeah.
But with elbow pads, it does change it because you could bust somebody.
So you would basically, you'd like to see the removal of them in at least French professional Muay Thai?
I would like to see here and all. Instead of like C class, B class, it should just
Yeah.
be elbow pads and elbow pads.
What do you think of that, Mescho? What do you think
Yeah, I
about him
think-
wearing elbow pads and about the whole situation?
Well, in Jamie's fight, I watched it live, and I did notice that obviously they had elbow pads on. But Jamie's hit him with an elbow, but you're a bit an elbow fighter. But at one point, you hit him with 4 left body kicks. I'm like,
Right.
yes.
Yeah.
But he stepped in. I think that was when he caught you with the
Aye,
elbow.
so his elbow pad slipped off.
Oh, did it?
I always end up getting cut in my fights, right? The one fight with bloody elbow pads,
And
as
still
soon as
get cut?
as soon as it falls off, that's the one he
Yeah.
fucking hits us
Was
with.
it?
I get caught.
Well, I noticed when he came into the ring, his elbow pads were away down. And then
Aye.
it took ages to tape them up.
Aye.
And he was walking, sealed the ring with the elbow pads away down. And they were in the corner messing about. And I'm
Aye,
like, hurry
they're
up,
taking
get the
ages,
fight.
Yeah, so this is what I mean. You still obviously face the chances of the elbow pad slipping down and
Yeah.
circumstances in the heat of the moment. The referee can't stop the fight, and it can still lead to a cut. So it's like, do you just at what point do you just remove them completely?
See if you're
because
a good clincher as well, and you know how to clinch properly. See if you're say you're locking someone's arms or
Yeah.
that, you could end up pulling their elbow pad down by action and then
exactly.
causing yourself damage.
Yeah.
So better just
removing them all
remove them
altogether.
altogether, to be honest.
Yeah, it's just like, obviously I did see the highlights of the fight, and I knew that would be a big talking point. So it's just, I think it's definitely something for people to consider maybe going into the future. I mean, like, obviously we wouldn't have a say on how things are regulated over there. Do you know what sanctioning body it was that was like sort of taking care of the fight, that sort of officiating it? No idea. Some French.
I wouldn't understand them anyway.
Yeah.
If I tell you.
No,
I
that's
think
fair enough.
across the board in France, it's just elbow pads anyway.
Aye.
But going back to what you're saying about C class elbow pads and B class, there's a few shows about that do that, like Wojciech shows. And
Yeah,
Panaman,
they do
they
pro
do C class
and-
elbow
yeah,
pads and stuff like that.
Mhm.
And that's how in my big show last year, and this year, in fact, it was all elbow.
Yeah.
And last year, particularly, was all elbow pads. This year, I had some C class and one B class, I think, but most of them were all elbow
Well,
pads.
it was the first time at Liam's show just the other week, the Emerge show. It was the first time I'd ever seen Jamie McKendry, who was fighting C class with elbow pads, which I'd just never seen before.
Well, that was he was fighting an opponent for down south,
Yeah.
and they specified they
Yeah,
wanted that.
No, listen, I get it, and I think I get both points of view as well, because it's like I do believe that, like, maybe C class and B class, it should just be elbow pads, and it should just be full traditional, because a lot of people like to say, oh, C class is just kickboxing with clinch.
Yeah.
Do you know, and it's a bit of a shame, because, you know, people have still worked hard on their clinch, and, you know, but it also as well, it's like there's a lot of gaps in a lot of folks' games when they do make that jump and they've not thrown elbows, and as soon as they make that first transition, they don't realise, like, when they're clinching up, and then all of a sudden they've got sliced, and you know, it's just because it's something so new to them. But
I feel when you make the change for like no elbows to starting elbows, you feel like you're starting from scratch.
yeah,
what I
complete new start. Well, we're gonna move on still a bit about Jamie's fighting. I want to talk about your last fight that was actually on Hungryside against Omar.
Yep.
What did you find like? How did you find it? Sorry, fighting on Hungryside. What was Omar like as an opponent? And what were your thoughts like coming away from that fight?
I thought it was probably, I would say it's the best show I've fought in the UK, 100%. It was near my house, I know, because I stay in East Kilbride, which topped it off.
Perfect. Oops.
I like 5 rounds Muay Thai, but I'm starting to enjoy the 3 rounds, because you're just going at it.
Right
you know
in
what
the
I mean?
action.
That's it.
Yeah.
And I like to go straight into the action, as
Yeah.
you know.
It's better for the fans, I think.
That's it. And also, I'd say my last 2 fights, as I said, I'm starting to pick my shots.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm starting to be a lot more composed. I think that's experience is starting to show
starting
now,
to show a bit
because
more.
usually I'm just trying to elbow people's heads off. And,
just look for
we
the
knew
finish.
Omar was aggressive and all. So I like, and we seen how obviously Jack Moran had beat Omar, and I've fought Jack as well. So I was like, I'll try and kick him, I'll try score.
Yeah, I did notice
worked
that.
good for us.
You were very good at your teeps. You know, you were catching his kicks, you were moving. Like, I think a lot of people were expecting both of you just to sort of clash up, but you sort of did the opposite, and like you said, you were just scoring with your kicks and your teeps, and that's how you came away with the victory.
I noticed a big difference between the Ormore fight that you had
Yep.
with Matty, and then how you're picking your shots with Omar,
Aye.
and then you're being a bit more clinical with it,
Yeah.
because you've proved over and over that you like a tear up and you just go forward.
Yep.
But Matty was just a wee bit too cute for you, and he was just you were jumping in and he was sweeping you, and that's what got him the victory. So the way you mixed up and fought Omar, I thought you showed a different
so
level.
Matty was my fourth A class, so I had 3 knockouts in a row up to him, and I'd say I still gave him a good fight, but then
Great fight, I
it's like to
enjoyed it.
realise you can't knock everyone on it, so
Yeah.
you can't just go at it. So then the dynamics change a wee bit. Everyone knows if I need to, then if I'm in the trenches, I'll go at it, but I also need to score as well. Because in the gym I do that, but just when the bell goes, I'm like a bell at a red
it's
flag.
something different.
But my last 2 fights have showed that, and I'm happy with that. So I'm happy to see what comes next year. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I think we're all buzzing to see this 8-man like actually to come into fruition. I think that the hype is just getting even more real, especially after watching that weekend's performance off of Khalifa,
I
who's
was
one of the
there, yeah.
entries. It was his first A-class fight. Got a stoppage.
Yeah, and then shouted out to the camera.
Shouted out. That was it. So, what do you make of his performance? And do you see him as being one of the favourites?
That's the first time I saw Khalifa, but to be fair, I was actually just about to leave the venue, and I was talking to somebody I'd not seen for a while, so I kind of missed it, but I watched the kind of highlights. But was it second round stoppage, was it?
I believe so.
Yeah,
I think so.
second round stoppage. So I heard a lot of good things about Khalifa, and I never saw him fight before. But when I watched the clips back, he is fast. He's super sharp. He's obviously a young lad, so fair play to Stuart Forrest. Stuart Forrest.
Aye, that's what he's fighting on it.
He's fighting Stuart Forrest, and fair play to Stuart Forrest for fighting Khalifa, because obviously Khalifa's only maybe 19-year-old or something, 20-year-old or something. I remember I won the Scottish title at 32-year-old. Everybody was like, oh, I want to fight him, I want to fight him. I was getting called out of everybody, and they're 19-year-old. I went, I'm 32-year-old. I'm not fighting a wee guy.
Uh,
But
Fair enough.
it's Muay Thai's evolved since then. Everybody's
No,
all
I mean
there,
it
so-
was spectacular to see like the performance he put on, and I think it just makes us like more itching to see what's next because I know like a lot of certainly David Murray had
Yeah.
something to say
That's
about
what I'd
it.
say to look out for, because I've seen him. I think I've seen him fight twice now, and I've sparred him up at MXP. But Joe Norris for Edinburgh Gym, 'cause we've got one in Bride and then one in Edinburgh. Joe Norris for Edinburgh Gym fought him in the MXP show
Yeah.
a few weeks ago, and I was impressed with him.
Oh,
He
that was
aye.
yeah.
I've heard good
yeah.
things about him as well.
I mean, he's very, very technical, and I just think that him and Khalifa, like, if they were to draw each other in the first, they would just put the standards like, up
Because
there.
the two of them are going for it and on the chat,
And well,
weren't
I mean, speaking of the other guys, Cammy Cook and Mikey Law, they're back out this weekend on MTB.
Yeah.
So how do you think that's going to go? And imagine they get each other as well in the
So they fighting each other next
so
weekend.
they,
And they're
yeah,
fighting
so
each
they
other
could
in
get each other
MTB,
for
and
a
it's a
third fight.
rematch.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Well, probably. I don't think they'll get each other for a third fight until the semis.
Are you going to put them on opposite
I
brackets?
I'm going to push for that because
It would make sense.
Aye.
Unless this one was to finish in a draw and you'd need to see that third one.
well, we could see the third one in the semis or in a final.
Oh,
surely.
that's very true. That's very true.
So I would say probably in my mind I'm going to put Mikey in the Kama show
Okay.
or the proper fight show in
Right.
June.
No, it's still. I'm excited to see how it happens because obviously the one thing we were talking about was elbow pads. This is obviously fighting at Pro Am on.
That's another step up.
Yeah, exactly, and it could be the difference of the game. Do you know?
Yeah, I'll be interested to see what this fight brings on
Yeah.
Saturday.
Well,
It'll be a good fight.
speaking of this weekend, still, Jamie, I must ask your opinion on this fight. Caden Connolly and Omar Anderson. So you've trained and sparred with Caden countless of times.
Yep.
You've obviously just fought Omar. How do you think this fight's going to go? Because both those fighters are very much within your realm, and I know you're training partners with Caden, but there was that possibility that you could have even drawn each other in the last Hungryside 8-man.
Yep.
So how do you believe that fight will go?
Well, I'd say it's a good match. I'd say if Caden can watch his hands, I think he could win in points.
Okay.
So it's either going to be Caden on points or Omar by stoppage. That's what I'd say.
Right, so that's your two.
Caden's good at playing the game and
Yeah.
scoring, but if Omar's made some adjustments and he uses his hands,
Yeah.
I'd say he can't just go straight in with just hands. Or I think
Yeah.
you need to change it up a wee bit.
Yeah,
But it could go either way, to be honest. I'm buzzing to see that.
yeah, it's going to be a good
I would
one.
say it could go either way as well. Yeah,
Yeah, you
it's
got it
gonna
down
be a good
either way.
fight.
Well, it's at a heavier weight that they both fight at. It's at 66, I think.
Is it?
Or yeah,
Aye.
it's
I
not
didn't
at
know that.
63.
Ah.
So that could make a difference. I don't know. Maybe they might be feeling a bit more comfortable, or a bit more power behind their shots. Who knows?
Well, if Omar's got a bit more power behind the shots,
Exactly.
Caden's in
It's
for a hard night.
So that's why I'm very excited.
I
to
didn't
see
realise
that.
it was a different weight.
Yeah.
Aye.
I think
I think they
Caden's
just- I
not
think they
fighting at
agreed on
63
it.
anymore.
Aye, just the
Aye.
safe cutting weight. It makes sense. The two of them are probably wanting about 72 anyway. But
Yeah, exactly. So it'll be exciting to see. So what will we go on to next? So yeah, I would like to talk about. We'll kind of go back into the management side of
Yeah.
things. What you were talking to. So you helped. You helped matchmake. Obviously a big name last year on your own home show, Thomas Renschi. Against Stuart, that was
Yeah.
great, and he's back out again this weekend actually for
like Tomasz.
yeah, Tomas.
Otazinski.
And-
Otazinski.
That's it. But this time he's fighting for the first ever WMO World Heavyweight title.
Alright.
So it's the first time WMO have ever had a heavyweight champion.
All right.
So he's fighting against that Gerardo Atti. He's a kickboxer sort of background. He fought. I think he fought that Reese something on a Grand Prix.
Rona was talking about this all day.
Yeah.
He fought Scott Skermilly, is it?
Yeah.
The Skermilly gym. He fought him on Yokel maybe 2 years ago.
Okay. So
On Super Showdown.
he's a
I think.
talented guy,
Aye.
and I've seen
He's
him.
explosive.
I've seen a few of his fights. I was speaking to Tom's coach, Sam. He he said to me that now seen after Tom coming back from Thailand though and having his camp over there, he says nothing's going to stop him.
Yeah.
So I'm very excited to see how this goes because I know they do say about that Ati that he's kind of a
Explosive
he's
kickboxer.
explosive kickboxer.
K1.
He's quite long. He's quite tall. However, he comes in quite light, and I know I'm saying light. These guys are. I think he comes in at about 110 kilos, but
Right.
he's more in the sort of like light heavyweight sort of
Yeah.
category rather than the heavyweight. However, he's a big lad, so I'm excited to see Tom's power. Like, will that take him through the fight, or will this Ati use his scoring?
I think with Tom, as everybody was surprised how good his footwork was.
Oh, he's
It must be a
Um,
Tom thing, because him and Tom Aspinall and all are both rapid for their weights, aren't they? They move like they're cruiserweights.
Yeah, exactly.
It must be. So like, his footwork and his ring craft and stuff
Yeah.
is just phenomenal.
It is for
Just,
such a big lad.
For such a big guy, he moves like a middleweight.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, and a few people are saying Tom didn't have power and stuff like that, but it's just the
You don't,
accuracy.
you don't need to be hitting
I
at
know.
100%
I don't
when you've
have
got
the
the
throw.
fluidity that he does. I mean, the size of him anyway, as long as you're hitting clean strikes and you're following through it, you're going to
So
deliver.
Ange don't see coming, I know that.
Exactly. I mean, just look at his last knockout.
I know.
John Jones' sort of upwards. It was phenomenal. So
I
really
like
excited
Big
to
Tom.
see how
I like Big Tom.
yeah, how he-
I'd love to see him win it Saturday, is it?
yeah, Saturday. This
And
coming
you're going
Saturday.
over for it?
I'm going over. I'll be ringside for it, so that'll be
Good.
exciting. Hopefully, we see him win the title, and just can't wait for it.
Collab and some good
Of
footage.
course, yeah. Best footage about, So-
That'll be a really good fight. I hope Tom wins.
yeah.
Big shout to
of
Tom.
course. I want to talk about next, just kind of diving off a tiny bit of Muay Thai is Scottish MMA. Just for a wee brief moment, did you guys get to see Chris Duncan and Sean Clancy on the weekend?
I've seen the highlights of both of them.
I saw highlights. My two friends were actually over to see Chris Duncan.
Yeah, I know you're a big
I
fan of
went
him.
over in the last fight in the Apex.
Yeah,
And then we spent some time with Chris after it, the next day and stuff like that.
Brilliant.
So my two mates were over this weekend there, and they said it was a fantastic time.
yeah. I mean, he's going upwards like to the big
he's
scale,
top
and I
15
mean,
anyway.
well, like following probably Sean like Clancy, I mean,
Yeah.
he's just won the Cage Warriors world title. He's just walking through everybody in his division. Is that the next step for him as well? Was UFC?
It's got to be into it. It's
100%,
just
man.
what is he 9-0?
Something like that. It's
Same
just he
as
just
his
walks
brother,
through.
Young
it.
and all,
Stephen.
aren't they?
He's extremely young. I think he's like 20, 22 maybe.
I don't know.
Maybe a bit older, but he's extremely
He's
young.
dead young.
He's an absolute monster.
I could
at that.
probably see Sean having maybe one defend his title or maybe
Defend-
two more fights and then
defend
go
it
to
once,
UFC.
defend it
But
twice,
UFC
yeah.
actually know who he is
Exactly.
because they was over in the corner of Berdew a couple of times
Yeah.
and they were in the Institute
Aye,
and
of
they
course.
actually knew who he was. So they've
Yeah,
been keeping an eye
they've
on
been
him for
really
a
good.
while. So
And then
it's not going to be that long.
he had his
before
younger
he's signed.
brother Stephen as well. He just
Stephen.
won his third amateur MMA title.
Yeah,
on
he's
that
9-0.
FCC.
He's definitely 9-0.
Yeah, he's just like both of them are destined for the big leagues.
Yeah.
It's just, and I mean they're already there.
Well, with Stephen, I went to Canada with WBC. I was the Scotland coach for youth games,
Right?
and Stephen was there. And it was just at the tail end of COVID, so it was only three. We went over. Caden Donnelly, Stephen Clancy, and young lad, I can't remember, for Greenup. And Stephen was only had one Thai fight previous, or his first Thai fight
Yeah.
proper in a tournament was over in Canada, and the second fight he won the gold. So that's a level.
It shows you the talent now. doesn't it?
That's the level he's at. It's amazing, man.
Oh, it's great to see that just for Scottish MMA. But,
Yeah.
100%, man. It's good to see Scotland in the map, innit?
no, exactly. And just even like the Scottish Muay Thai, Scottish MMA, just Scottish fighting in general, it's just like we're growing as a nation and it's just great to see.
I see the bare knuckles actually in the Gladiators Arena this
Yeah,
weekend.
so I think the
Is
main,
that this
the
weekend
main
as well?
event
Aye,
is
that's
at,
this weekend.
what's his name? Jay McFarlane. Aye. He's fighting another big Scottish lad, bare knuckle anyway. But yeah, I know there's been a lot of promotion behind that anyway. That's going
Yeah.
to be quite interesting. Jamie, I want to ask, what would be your next sort of future plans for Muay Thai? Because I know you said like that's you sort of done for the year. We're in December and we're just sort of like wrapping it up. But what do you see in the new year for yourself?
Well, I'm fighting on my home show on the 7th of March.
Okay.
I'm sure John's getting me a Swedish boy. I don't know who it is,
Swedish?
but he's getting me a Swedish boy.
Nice, so another international opponent.
And then my next plan's going to Thailand.
Yep.
And then when I come back, the next fight in Scotland will probably be in Hungryside.
No, fair enough.
So-
That would be
How long you got to Thailand for?
Uh,
A few months,
about
then?
3 months or something. Aye.
nice.
Where did you train me go?
I've only been once. I went to Bangkok and Phuket, so I'm still trying to figure out where I'm going to train,
Yeah.
or I might move a bit. But I'd like to get a couple of fights, you know what I mean?
Yeah, quite right.
And I
man.
might do the WBC games if they're at the end of it.
Yeah, I think when are they in June, July?
Aye, when the World
June.
Cup's on, because I've just booked to go to the World Cup. Straight
Sorry.
after proper fights.
It's all right for some. No, well, that's good as well. Could we see you potentially any UK Muay Thai rankings fights? Because I know this is a subject that you would like to talk about as well.
Yep.
We were speaking about it before the podcast. You feel that you deserve a place in the top 10. Yeah, so
Because I beat Jack Moran November, so what's that? Only a year ago now.
okay.
13 months ago. And he just get ranked UK number 5. Like,
After Hungryside.
After Hungryside. Because I helped him get ranked.
did you?
So-
Well, I did say about it, and
Uh-huh.
the boy that was doing it was like, well, if we rank you, we'll need to rank Matty. But then I'm like, well, that's fair enough then. Surely me and Matty should both be in the rankings.
hmm
You know what I mean?
So you feel you deserve a
and
place there?
then one of the boys that's at UK number 10, I'm pretty sure he's off like quite a few losses in a row, and he's
Right.
been straight back into 10.
Yeah, and you just
what I
feel
mean?
that you deserve a place there.
Aye, but I'm happy to fight any of the boys and climb my way up them, you know what I mean? So,
Yeah, well, I mean, like, do you see that as like an issue? Maybe like, because obviously you're trying to grow yourself and grow your international profile, like through the help of Mescho as well. And you know, you're fighting a French guy. Next, you're going to be talking about fighting a Swedish guy. So do you feel it's quite hard to balance like a domestic and an international sort of scale and like be ranked upon both, or
well, this
You
is
sort
only
of just got
going to be
fixated
my
on one.
second international opponent, so no really. If you want it on Hungryside, I'll defend my Scottish title against for them any ranked people.
Oh,
Yeah.
I could maybe get you fighting Jack Moran again.
Aye.
On
Maybe for a
Hungryside.
British
Aye,
title or
I'd be up
something?
for that.
That'd
Even
be,
for a ranking.
yeah, for a ranking.
Number
Ranking
5.
spot.
I like that. I'd like to see that, Mescho.
Aye.
Might be
Let's get
something.
There you go,
man.
Jack.
There
There's
you
a
go,
fight
Jack.
for it.
You've just
Jack
been
wants
called
on enemy. Obviously, everybody at 48 man wants back on
Back
and
on,
wants
yep.
matched. But there's different opportunities there, or
Yeah,
options there to match him against people that they didn't fight in 8 man and stuff like that. So,
yeah.
That
See
sounds
how
good
it
to me,
goes.
but aye.
well,
This is-
12th of September next Hungryside.
There you go,
Super
12th of
Show.
September, Jack Moran versus Jamie Gillies.
Let's do
Get a
it.
British title on the line for it. Yeah.
Tend to watch the first fights on YouTube. It's a entertaining fight and all.
That was a great fight. Really back and forth. I would love it. So yeah, there's also a few fights coming up. Not this weekend, but next. And they're quite big. So you've got Craig Coakley versus Anthony Deary
Oh, right, yeah.
for a WMO world title, and then obviously his training partner Tag, who's fighting
Carol Ryan.
Carol Ryan for a WMO international title. So
gonna
I would
be a
love to
good
hear your
fight, man.
thoughts on these. So first of all, what do you think of Tag?
I was
Tag versus
got
Carl.
to go down to watch Tig and Carol because I like the two of them. I'm friends with both of them and stuff like that.
course.
And I wanted to go down and watch it. And I thought that they were going to have that fight in that box zone or something
Right.
in Liverpool. There's a venue they use, and I was like, I want to go to that venue. It looks cracking.
Yeah.
But now they're actually having it in a sports centre. So that's kind of put me off going to kind of down. That and the fact it's nearly Christmas and stuff like that. But I'm definitely going to get a pay-per-view.
Well,
It's
I'll
got-
tell you one thing. I think Tag Gannon versus Carl Ryan is going to be fight of the year
I
potentially.
think it could be fight of the year.
Really, because both of them have just made such a name for themselves at such young ages. You know, Tag coming up through this UK and domestic team. Carl already making a name for himself, like over in Thailand on Raja. It's like it's unbelievable to see what both of these sort of like young guys will bring to the Muay Thai scene, and to put them together and like fight each other at such an early stage is a great thing to see, because it's like somebody's always got to go.
Yeah.
So I think this is just genuinely going to be the most like.
It's good that they're all fighting each other. Not
Yeah,
all dodging.
they're
I think a
not-
lot of
no
people made that
dodges.
point. You know, credit to both fighters that
Aye,
they're not dodging
100%.
each other and they're not like wanting to just try slip past it. Like they're willing to take each other head on. And I really think that we could be looking at fight of the year contender here.
Quite possibly. If it goes 5 rounds.
What about
definitely.
Anthony Deary versus Craig Coakley?
That'd be a good
Because
fight.
I think that's going to
Both
be.
of them are explosive, so
Aye.
that'd be a really good
It
fight.
could go either way, but I think not to take it away from him, but Craig Coakley's been at the game for a wee bit, and Anthony Deary's like just knocked it. Somebody ranked in
Well,
RWS and that,
but Craig was back
Craig's had
fighting
a
on
couple of
Hitman.
fights.
He was on
Aye,
Hitman
he's
and he
had
got a
2
stoppage on Hitman and he was
Didn't know
looking
had 2
sharp.
fights this year
I think he has had two
on
fights this year.
Hitman. I think he's had 2 fights.
He's been
Aye, so
active.
he was meant to train for a boxing fight, I think, and then he come back.
Yeah, and he just came back.
He's coming back, and
He
I
got out
think
his one contract and then now he's
I really believe that could potentially as well be like just an
Aye,
absolute banger
I'm
to
both
watch.
kind of in the middle for both of them because they're both like both of their
So
fights
close.
are so close, aye. But I'll be tuning into it anyway.
I know, no, for
And
sure.
it's both in the same show.
Yep, same show. And then
cool. That's
Mark
fine.
Campbell,
20th,
Mark Campbell
November.
out of Mazda as well. He's fighting for a world title
On the
on
same
show, WMO. Off the top of my head, I can't remember his opponent's name, but I'm sure he just won an ISCA world title.
Yeah.
So he could be looking at becoming a 2-time world champion as well, which is quite impressive. I know I've seen JP Gallagher. He's been down working alongside with a lot of the Mazda boys.
Well, supposedly JP's got into partnership with the new gym they're opening.
Are they opening a new
Well,
gym
that's what
together?
I
I've,
heard,
I've
I
seen
know.
I've seen something on Instagram about that. So that'll be very interesting to see the fighters that they produce together. Because you know, like JP is notorious for being such a high level striking coach,
Yeah.
and you know, like I think working alongside the Mazda guys just with their like sort of youthful squad, like
Yeah.
so many of their high level fighters are so young, and that they're just bringing to the
It
scene.
came right through the junior ranking.
Yeah,
and just
so
kept
I
going,
think-
kept going. And
Aye.
Really
That's a
exciting
good
to see
calibre.
what
Alex
develops
works,
out.
Alex works really well with him.
Mhm.
And they die for Alex, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I cannot wait to see what comes out the next 5-10 years from that gym,
it's
because it
gonna
could really be something
take
big.
They
For
won
sure.
the gym of the year last year, was it?
Really?
Last year,
It was the gym of the
I
year?
think-
Yeah.
I think so.
Nice. Misha, I want to ask you, do you know any future plans for Rona? Because we know she just came off a unanimous decision victory over Uma Gali, who's fought that Barbara on RWS, and she was like, you know, a very formidable opponent, and Rona seemed to just be back to her usual ways. Like she was scoring very well with her teeps, kicks. She was great at sweeps. So yeah, do you know what her future plans would be? Any sort of big names in the line? Any
Well,
shows in the mind?
I've not really spoke about it since I was away in New York UFC when Rona fought in
Okay.
that fight. I watched the fight back and it was a brilliant performance she put on, especially against the opponent. The opponent was world class. You know what I mean?
She was great. She came out, and that was I was speaking to Rona after the fight, and she was saying Uma she hit hard. You could
Yeah.
hear it. You could hear it.
I
Every
think
kick was
when
ringing.
I watched it back, as soon as Uma get dumped in the clinch in the second round,
Yeah.
Uma knew
The head went down.
It was like game over because Rona in every distance. I always say fighting's all about distances, controlling the
Distance
distance.
management.
If you can control all the distances, you've got to win the fight. So Uma is renowned for being a strong clincher. And at one point in the second round, Rona just dumped her.
Yep.
And she kind of looked at him and went, oh, I'm in for a hard night.
Yeah.
And then the third round and the fourth round, she was trying to
Yeah.
score for the outside. And Rona
Rona's
just blocked
teeps,
and taped
yeah.
and scored off her.
She was relentless
So
with the teeps, just
every round,
constantly.
Every round.
Yeah.
So just be more same again for Rona. Next year we'll fight absolutely MD.
Yeah.
I've asked Hillary if she wants to get an opponent for Ron Moore.
Okay,
and then we'll
so
just-
back on the odd and more trend.
Aye.
We'd love to see her again on that.
But maybe
Got to keep up the tradition.
yeah, Rona's never been one for chasing belts, so she had 2 narrow decisions against her for belts. So she's not that bothered about chasing other belts. She
No.
just wants to fight.
Just wants
And
to
I
fight
think
big names.
you saw in that last fight, and the pressure was off. There's nothing to do with a belt. It was just a straight fight.
Yeah.
And that's where she wants to be.
Yeah.
She's not interested in chasing belts. If we get opportunities, we'll talk about it. And we'll
Could we
probably
maybe
take
even
them.
see her, like, if the opportunity was to arise to even fight back out in Thailand on RWS or
Yeah,
something like
yeah.
that? I think I would love to see her in that sort of like 8
Yeah.
ounce anyway. Like I believe the way one set up, I don't believe Rona's much of a 4 ounce fighter. I think she's definitely fit for
she
8
would never
ounce.
fight in 4 ounce
No.
because she's not a one fan.
Fair enough.
she's not a 3 round fan either, but she's more inclined to fight RWS. And I had the opportunity. I've got the contact details for the matchmaker and stuff for RWS. So if you
If you
can
really
get out
wanted
there,
to, we
if
could.
she can get out there and spend a bit of time in Thailand, we can get her a fight on there. But she just took on quite just a new job there in the last 6 months for 8 months, and she wanted to kind of push forward with her career.
Yeah.
Because she took a few years off from working and just worked part time and just was Muay Thai.
Yeah.
So we'll see what the new year brings in.
Yeah.
But she's always want to fight.
She'll be actively
active.
this year, I know.
I see the thing with Rona is she's no airs or graces. She'll fight someone in the UK ranking. She'll fight. She'll fight
No, she
Indy.
doesn't.
Know what I mean?
No, I think it would
She's
be
no
good.
guy go, I'm not want to fight her. She's only got 12 fights or whatever. If the girl's good enough, but what Rona won't do is she won't fight somebody with 12 fights for a European title.
No, she wants
Unless
high
she
caliber
thinks,
opponents.
unless she thinks the girl she's fighting deserves a belt. Because Rona didn't fight for a British title until she had about 40 odd fights.
That's
You know
fair
what I
enough.
mean?
Yeah.
And then European title in late 40s or whatever. So she's not chasing belts.
No,
because,
that's understandable, but as long as we get to like see her back out in action, of course. You know, that'd be
she'll
exciting.
always be. I think that last year is the least she's fought. It's only 3 times
but
she's fought
still
that
had 3
year.
fights, yeah.
But normally she'd be 5, 6, and
Yeah.
then if she's in Thailand, 7, 8 fights a year.
I don't know.
So she likes to keep active. So hopefully we get active again next year.
Well, speaking of the 4 ounce and the 8 ounce, Jamie, it's a question I've always wanted to ask you. Could you ever see yourself fighting in 4 ounce?
100%. If one championship phoned me, I'd be there tomorrow.
Would you go? What would it necessarily just have to be one, or would you do it on any promotion? Would the money have to be right, or would you enjoy?
It probably would need to be one, to be honest, because I feel like it shortens careers. But if you're doing it for a legacy, you're best doing it.
Yeah.
See if I was just doing them for like a couple £100 and then by the time that I do get a call to one championship or something
you
like that,
get
I'm ruined.
CTE.
You know what I mean? So
No,
you
that's
need to be smart. You know what I mean?
understandable,
You do need to be smart.
What about Tom Keogh's performance on one?
Brilliant.
And Garrett Smiley's WBC world title as well.
I'd like to see him and Levi Bailey fight. I think he's ranked number 1 and then Levi's number 2. And he's from Mazda, so
That would be
that'd be a good
interesting.
fight.
Yeah, for sure. Because I know Garrett took this fight on only like 6 weeks' notice.
But like
He
Garrett
stays
and
active
Niall
all
and
year round, don't they?
they're like super professional.
Yeah.
They're training twice a day. Like Rona trains twice a day.
Yeah,
Plus she
morning
goes.
and evenings.
She just started her job six months ago, let's say. But rather than train at 10 o'clock in the morning, she trains at 6:30 in the morning. She always trains.
As long as it's getting done.
Aye. So like Garrett and Niall are constant.
Yeah, professionals.
Constant.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. 1 week's notice, 2 weeks' notice, 3 weeks'
Nah, they're
notice.
ready.
They're
They're
always
game.
going to
That's
take
it, just
fights
pick up
and
the
win the
phone.
fights.
That's it. In fact, did you have the chance to train alongside, was it with
Niall,
Niall?
but not Garrett. But I did with Niall, aye.
Yeah, you were over there for
You
what
won
show was that?
Belfast.
He showed us a few things, man. They're top notch. They're top notch, man.
I love Niall, man.
Good lads, aren't they?
Shout out to Niall, my pal.
No, it was a brilliant performance by like Irish Muay Thai over there. It was just it was incredible to see. But yeah,
And Eric for Fights Hard was over with him.
yeah, I saw
doing
that. He's
filming.
been doing some great filming.
A lot of his stuff.
And
amazing.
yeah, it's incredible to just watch like how great they've been kind of getting on. Do you know, it's a real big step up for Irish Muay Thai, and again what we were talking about earlier, Scottish Muay Thai, UK Muay Thai, the domestic scene, everything's growing close to home, and it's just great to see this sort of like big shows, you know, big names, the big fighters. So I must ask again, have you got any more future names, big names that you've planned for the next Hungryside Super Show, or have you got any names in mind that you might sign for the management soon?
Well, I've not necessarily got to be signing people for the management.
Okay.
For initially, the Hungryside management's got to be mainly for matchmaking.
Just matchmaking.
Just now, anyway.
Yeah.
The company's set up, but I could have lots of different avenues from it. I could end up managing fighters. The company's actually set up in Dubai, so we could, if Jamie ended up on one championship and then had a couple of fights and then they signed him, the problem with getting signed at 100,000, I've been told, you only, by the time you get 100,000, you want to bring it back to UK, you're only walking away with 47,000 and
So
100.
basically you'd help a lot of fighters that
You'd have to set up in
out
Dubai.
Dubai.
you'd have to set up in Dubai and get a bank account and
And
stuff
that's
like
what
that.
you could help and provide.
I could
with
potentially do that, aye.
yeah,
So
help
there's
with
loads
the
of
fighters.
different avenues for it.
Mm.
But initially with the Hungryside management, it's just got to be for matchmaking fights.
Yeah.
And the way that's got to work is, as I said, if Alessio can, he already works with big names
Yeah.
in the UK. So if he thinks a specific fighter, he'll just go direct to them, that's fine.
Yeah.
But him and myself have partnered up, and if he's got someone like 67 kilos, then he'll come to me and say, I've got this fighter, he's really good, he's aggressive, I need somebody equal.
Yeah, he'll
And
find
then
someone.
what I'll do is I'll have a think about who I can match him with. I'll put it to 2 or 3 people in my chat, my group chat. I'll message them directly and
Yeah, yeah.
offer them a fight. If they can't take it, then I'll drop it in. I've got maybe 35 coaches in my group chat just now.
Yeah.
I'll drop it into the group chat and say,
just for everyone
and
to see.
any of you guys got someone,
Mm-hmm.
and then they'll put a fighter to me, and I'll go, right, if I don't know them, I'll trust the coach,
Yeah.
and then I'll put it to Alessio, pass on to
Well,
the
that seems
promoter.
like a good way to sort of handle it and just
But basically, that's what I do anyway when I matchmake my show.
yeah,
You know
yeah.
what I mean? And I always, when I matchmake, I always try and get 50-50 fights, always.
Oh, of course.
And-
It
or,
most
or
interesting,
even
yeah.
hard fights.
Yeah.
Even hard fights. Or even my novices, my fighters in my gym.
Yeah.
I had a young guy, Blair Thompson, was fighting Saturday up in Aberdeen, and the poster didn't get released till about a week before.
Right.
And this, after the fight, it was a hard fight, and they won against the young guy that Bailey Simpson for Karma.
Oh,
I think,
yeah.
I think it was Bailey Simpson. And I'm hopeless with names,
Okay.
but I know faces. As soon as I saw a poster, I went, aye, this wee guy's good. And I said to Blair, I thought, look, I told you this wee guy was going to be good, but I've watched him, this guy is really good. So after this fight, Blair won.
Yeah.
After this fight, we're having a couple of pints with his dad, and his dad's like that to me, oh, so-and-so messaged me when they seen the poster, another lad in the gym's dad.
Yeah.
Oh, he messaged me saying, this boy's really good, maybe you should pull him out. And I went, what? This boy's really good, maybe you should pull him out. But nah, I've faith in you, I've trust in you. I've like, of course. I've like, we don't take easy fights.
No, of
I'm
course not.
That's
we
how
want
you
hard
grow
fight.
if you're taking
Aye.
hard fights. not
Exactly. Like, there's no point in just like literally as we were saying about the tag and Carl situation. Like, you can't avoid easy fights. You need to take hard opponents. You know,
But you
even
get-
if you're giving up experience or
Yeah.
talent or whatever, you need to give something
But
up.
what happens is people do get to maybe world level
Yeah.
and they're dodging hard fights, but then they have one hard fight and they get found out.
They get exposed.
Or they get
But
exposed.
you know that in your head.
Fraud
See if
check.
you're-
You can see
see
it,
if you're
you can see
fighting
it.
these people, you know in your head. You're not. Know what I mean? You're not actually at that level, so you need
Yeah.
to take that.
But some people believe that they are. Some people
Prove it
actually believe that they're at
Aye,
that
they're
level.
delusional. Aye.
And they're like, world champion or European champion, and then they get a hard domestic fight and
Yeah,
then get
just-
bosted.
Oh, for sure.
So,
I mean, and that's the thing, is just the domestic scene as well. Like, at the moment, like, these fights that you're making on the domestic scene could be potential world title fights,
Yeah.
European
Aye.
title fights, and it's just
100%.
within the UK, do you know? It's crazy.
UK's
The UK's
Strong.
getting one of the biggest, I'd say.
Oh, yeah.
outside Thailand, the UK is big.
Yeah.
But what I was saying to somebody the other day after like, Dan Bonner's fight in Australia, he was fighting New Zealand, sorry, but in Australia and New Zealand, see the money they're actually giving for
Yeah,
purses
yeah,
and the government pushes money into it.
Oh, do they?
Aye, so the UK is all for the last good while anyway. I would say UK has been the best outside Thailand, but the amount of money that's getting pushed out in New Zealand and Australia,
Yeah.
that money is just going to help the sport grow and grow.
And that's
So-
what I feel that's what we need to see over here. And,
I need
like,
to
we
try and
do.
get money for somewhere.
Yeah, because
revenue.
it's hard to, you know, I know what you mean, because the production values of a lot of these shows over there is, you know, like full blown professional setups, and you know, we were fortunate to have the Hungryside show, and you put on one of the most professional shows within the UK, and it was brilliant. And I just feel that, you know, if we could get something like UK government backing, some sort of funding, it could grow the sport tenfold, you know, and only like with the likes of like people like Nico and like Jonathan Haggerty, do you know, like these guys at the top like level, and like, you know, they're sort of role models, and like they could be ambassadors, they could be whatever, you know, like one, they've got a Sky Sports deal, but yet there's no panel to discuss Muay
I
Thai.
do hope that in
Why-
the next
why is that
few
the
years
case?
it does change, man.
They've got it for football, they've got it for cricket, whatever other sports, but yet they've not got Muay Thai. You know, and there's no doubt more than qualified people to be journalists on that and sit and speak and commentate and
Yeah.
do you know, like, and yet Sky Sports have that contract and they're not really doing anything with it. So it's a bit of a shame to almost see that opportunity squandered here in the UK. But that's just what the point we're at right now, and I guess it's up to the people like us to just help try grow the sport and push it as much as we can.
Yeah, I know. Like the guys at UK Muay Thai have been pushing to try and get funding and stuff like that, and they've been making big leaps and bounds over the last couple of years. They've been formed.
And these are the small victories that they need to take and just kind of capitalise on.
I think before they took over, it was getting mismanaged by the previous establishment, as far as I'm led to believe. So
Politics, anyway.
yeah.
But I mean, apart from that, I think we'll just sort of wrap it up there, unless there's anything else you guys want to chat about. No,
I'm fine.
I mean, it's been a very successful, and like I said, there's a few exciting, fights to come up for the remainder of the year, and it will be interesting to see, like, where everybody's at going into the new year and what the new year sort of entails for the sport of Muay Thai.
Yeah.
So so thanks, guys. Really appreciate your time, and we'll be back with episode 3. Episode 3 wins
January.
in New Year.
13th of January.
So stay tuned in the New Year, guys.
Let's do it once a month.
Once a month or something. Yeah.
Right, cool.
Perfect.
Yeah,
Cheers.
perfect.
Thanks
Thank
very
you.
much.
Cheers.
Bye-bye.
See you later.